Dramatic footage has shown a Greek island engulfed in flames as wildfires continue to rage and sweep away entire villages during the longest heatwave in more than 3 decades. People in a passing boat looked back in horror as the hellish sky over the island of Evia, around 100 miles north of Athens, was filled with thick smoke on Wednesday. Terrified residents were forced to flee over water after multiple infernos raging on the island amalgamated, blocking roads away from the danger and bringing flames closer to their coastal villas. Now firefighters and water-bombing planes are battling blazes around the villages that remain standing on Evia. More than 100 miles to the west, flames have encircled the ancient site of Olympia where the Olympics were held every 4 years from 776 BC for more than a millennium. The country is facing unprecedented environmental crises with multiple fires fueled by a heat wave entering its second week, said Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis as he visited Olympia today. Another significant wildfire is still ripping through forests on the outskirts of Athens, the result of an earlier fire rekindling in the incessant heat which scientists warn is the result of man-made climate change. More difficult days lie ahead, he said, as winds have been predicted to pick up and the heat wave continues. I fully understand the anger, rage, exasperation of people who have seen their property lost, Mitsotakis added. The Prime Minister said ancient Olympia's archaeological site and museum had been successfully protected. Citizens Protection Minister Michalis Chrysokoidis said earlier that firefighters waged an all-night battle to save the site. We will continue the battle all day in order to contain all the fronts and extinguish the fire. The conditions are difficult, Chrysokoidis said. Wildfires in the same area in 2007 killed dozens of people but spared Olympia's ancient sports venues and temples. The fire department said 174 firefighters, 9 ground teams, 52 vehicles, 2 water-dropping planes and 4 helicopters were tackling the blaze, which broke out Wednesday. Evacuation orders were issued for more than a dozen villages. On the northern fringes of the Greek capital, a forest fire that had been on the wane after burning into a suburb on Tuesday rekindled, sending plumes of thick smoke into the sky, and fire trucks racing to the area, sirens blaring. The fire in the Athens suburb of Veribobai had damaged dozens of homes and sent thousands fleeing earlier in the week, but had no longer been threatening inhabited areas. Authorities sent text messages to cell phones in the area urging people to evacuate. A heat wave described as Greece's worst since 1987 has baked the country for more than a week, sending temperatures spiraling to 45 degrees Celsius, 113 F, and creating tinder-dry conditions in shrubland and forests. neighboring countries faced similar conditions, fueling deadly wildfires in Turkey and blazes in Italy and across the Mediterranean region. Officials in Albania said one person died of smoke inhalation this week near the southern city of Gjirokastër. In Turkey, a wildfire that reached the compound of a coal-fueled power plant in the southwest, forcing residents to flee in boats and cars late Wednesday, was contained Thursday after raging for some 11 hours. Turkey's worst wildfires in decades have burnt for 9 days amid scorching heat, low humidity and constantly shifting strong winds. The fires have so far killed 8 people and countless animals. A European Union disaster response group said firefighters and water-dropping planes were being sent from EU members to Italy, Greece, Albania, and North Macedonia. The EU Atmosphere Monitoring Service said smoke plumes from the region's wildfires were clearly visible in satellite images, which also showed that the intensity of the wildfires in Turkey was at the highest level since records started in 2003. Greece saw more than 100 wildfires break out over 24 hours from late Tuesday to late Wednesday. Defense Minister Nikolaos Panagiotopoulos said Thursday that the armed forces would expand their role in fire prevention, with ground and air patrols over areas vulnerable to wildfires. The air patrols are being carried out by both manned and unmanned aircraft, he said. On the island of Evia, a major fire that broke out Tuesday was ravaging forests, leading to the evacuation of villages. More than 160 firefighters, 3 planes and 3 helicopters, as well as 5 ground teams and 57 vehicles were deployed. France's Civil Protection Agency said 40 French firefighters and 8 tons of material had headed to Greece late Wednesday to assist in the Evia blaze. Greek scientists said the total destruction in just 3 days this month in Greece exceeded 50% of the average area burned in the country in previous years. An Athens observatory report said an estimated 6,000 hectares, 14,800 acres, went up in smoke between Sunday and Wednesday, compared to 10,400 hectares in the whole of last year. The causes of the Greek wildfires were unclear, but authorities say human error and carelessness are most frequently to blame.